Hey everybody, this is Balfrey. Welcome to my first ever video. With the my first video ever, and it'll be my team analysis against Nolan, otherwise also known as Lord Stab, uh, the great leader of the Stab League. So we actually just entered our season 2 for the Stab League, and yeah, and it turned am facing Nolan here for my first match. For those who remember, during the draft league, or just during the draft tournament, Nolan basically spanked me. It was a harsh lesson to learn. So they definitely don't want to repeat that. I at least want to give Nolan a bit of a challenge here. And I mean, I'm definitely going to try my best to beat him. But that'll definitely be a very, very difficult task to do here. But hey, at least I'll definitely try and give him a fight here. So I was actually pretty lucky to pick up some pretty okay mons here. Unfortunately, as drafts as it tends to happen in drafts, I got sniped for a lot of my Pokemon. But at least I was able to still pick up quite a few good ones. So we have, let's see, who did I pick up here? I picked up Mega Kong, just because it's Mega Kong. Parental Bond it's just such a great ability, and I'm excited to try this Pokemon out. So I'll definitely be messing around with that Pokemon a lot, and we'll see how she does for me. And then I was also able to pick up Excadrill. I have my I'm going for the Dragon Fairy and Steel Core. And Excadrill is just like a really great Pokemon. Not only does it have access to Rapid Spin, but also Stealth Rock. So at least it's got some versatility for me to kind of mess around with and change it up a bit, just to kind of face the other teams any other Pokemons and that my opponents may bring. So that's good. And then we have Tapu Bulu, just to kind of help me with my just for the fairy part of the core. They actually, it's also a Bulu type apparently. But yeah, Bulu, just because Bulu's a monster. It is a force of nature. It can definitely take down a lot of Pokemon pretty quickly. And then Grassy Surge is just also an amazing ability. All the Tapu's abilities are just great. And then we have Latias as my Dragon type. I was thinking about grabbing Salamence at first, but that would have made my team just full of physical attackers, and we definitely don't want that. That would have been a terrible idea. So I went with Latias just because it's got excellent special attack, excellent speed, pretty great special defense as well, so that's good. Then we have Infernape, just sort of as another speed threat here. What I like about Infernape is that it's got both special attack and attack. They're both the same at 104 base. So definitely I can definitely make Infernape how I want him to be, depending on my opponent, and I can definitely tailor it to take on a number of threats, and that's the big reason why I picked up Infernape. And then we have Slowbro as a water psychic, just to kind of have a pretty strong, bulky Pokemon. Not a very great special defense, but at least with Calm Mind, it has access to that. At least it'll help boost that special defense there, and then get the and then boost up its special attack as well, and take on a lot of mons. Then we got Galvantula. I was actually gonna go for Shuckle first, just because my big draw with Galvantula was because of the sticky webs. And then the same thing with Shuckle. With Shuckle, I could have done Stealth Rock, which definitely could have saved a slot in my Excadrill for something different. But after some thought, definitely Galvantula benefits me more. Not only is it a fast electric type, it's got pretty okay special attack, and then with Compound Eyes, I can at least bring in Thunder, and at least have a higher hit ratio there, or a higher hit percentage. Sorry. With Galvantula, it's a little more versatile than Shuckle would be. Shuckle's just there to come out, set up, and get killed. So Galvantula definitely will be much more helpful here. Then I brought in Suicune, just in case I needed an extra Pokemon to be bulky. With 115 defense and 115 special defense, it's not a bad Pokemon, and 100 HP, definitely a bulky Pokemon. And I mean, it's got okay speed at 85, but it'll have, sometimes it'll probably have sticky webs from Galvantula to help it back up, so that's very good. And then, I mean, I could keep using Calm Mind to definitely bolster its special attack there, and its special defense. So, I mean, I got Suicune just in case I needed some extra bulk in my team. And then we have Chansey the Cleric. Definitely a great Pokemon to have if that's needed in your team. I'm still pretty new to the whole using Cleric Pokemon, so hopefully with Chansey I'll have the opportunity to learn a little more with it. But yeah, pretty self-explanatory. And yeah, let's move on. And then we got Alolan Muck. Definitely one of my favorite Pokemon in the meta game. Not only does it have access to the priority to Shadow Sneak, a pretty good priority move that can get a lot of Pokemon, but also that Dark and Poison typing is amazing. It's a big threat to the Tapus, and it can take the hits. If I bring in an Assault Vest Alolan Muck, it can take on the likes of Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, and Tapu Fini for sure. But so yeah, I definitely snagged. I was lucky enough to snag him. And it's a pretty strong Pokemon too, with 105 attack and 105 HP, giving it a little bit of that bulk there. But obviously, its defense is not great. But I mean, its only weakness is to ground, which is, I mean, it's very common in the metagame. But I definitely have other threats that can take those on. And then finally, we got Alolan Ninetales. Big part of it is just to have that second fairy type in my team. And what I like about Alolan Ninetales is it's got Snow Warning, giving me 100% with Blizzard. And it also has access to Aurora Veil. That's going to be very helpful in my team. Definitely help weaken some of the more stronger Pokemon. And let's check out what we're facing against today. So with Nolan, he's bringing in, so he's got Mega Heracross, Magiarna, Thundee, Lando T, Dragonite, Scolipede, Talonflame, Necrozma, Greninja, Dehelmise, and Milotic. So he picked up a pretty good team here. Greninja for sure is going to be a threat here. His faster Pokemon are definitely going to be a big issue for me. But I came prepared. So right from the bat, I think the Pokemon that's going to be helping me survive this battle for sure is going to be Infernape. But wait, let me tell you what I'm bringing in. I'm bringing in Infernape, Excadrill, Latias, obviously Mega Kangaskhan, Tapu Bulu, and Slowbro. So I'm anticipating Infernape to be my winning Pokemon here. So with Choice Scarf, it guarantees that I outspeed every single one of his Pokemon. But it loses out on using Life Orb or what are the other boosting items, choice band, choice specs, but well, at least with that, it's so I picked Iron Fist as its ability to kind of help boost some of its attacks there. So more specifically, Fire Punch and Thunder Punch. Fire Punch is because it's a fire move and it's going to hit some of the Pokemon. Definitely need a fire move with the fire Pokemon. And then it's going to also carry U-Turn. I feel U-Turn is pretty standard for Choice Scarf users or Volt Switch as well. Whatever type of switching move you want to use, but luckily Infernape has access to U-Turn, so I put that on it. Thunder Punch just to kind of help take on some of the more just to kind of surprise Milotic there, and Greninja, and Talonflame as well. Won't do much to Dragonite, but at the very least it's something that I can use to hit it with. And I believe, yeah. So we got those threats covered. And then Close Combat, just to kind of give it a powerful fighting move. And get the stab damage from the fighting type. Let's look at EVs here. So I went with maximum EVs in attack with the Adamant Nature just to kind of give it that extra boost. And then I invested heavily into its HP. This will give it a little bit more staying power on there. I also thought about putting some in defense and special defense, but I feel like it's going to benefit more if they're in HP. Just so I can kind of take a few hits here and there, and then just the 4 EVs into speed, and that just guarantees that I outspeed everything in his team. Last I did my calculations, so definitely Infernape is going to be big in helping me try and take down Nolan if I can. So then we have Excadrill here. Just it's my rapid spinner. I believe that he has for sure to take on the T-spikes that Scolipede might have. If they're already out in the field, at least Excadrill won't be poisoned, and it can just spin the spikes out of the battlefield. But I believe that's all. It's all of his Pokemon that can set up on my team. Well, Landorus can also use Stealth Rock, so just in case he does bring that, I can at least take that on. Yeah, and that's it. So Drill's also going to be carrying Stealth Rock. I was hesitant about doing this at first, just because it's. I mean, I could have used something useful, something else on there. Maybe I could have brought in a Swords Dance instead. But I just I love having Stealth Rock in my team. Definitely chip damage is something that I try and incorporate into my team here. So I opted to bring Stealth Rock this time around, and then Iron Head just to take on anything that might not be affected by Earthquake, and he's got quite a few Pokemon that that won't be affected by it. And then it comes with the plus with that 30% chance to flinch the target, so that's also good. Not Chirachi good, but definitely good. And then we have Earthquake, definitely a standard in an Excadrill, I believe. So yeah, and it hits hard and it hits relatively fast, so pretty excited to use Drill. So again, I went with 252 attack, just max damage as possible. And then I did 216 speed with a Jolly Nature here, bringing it up to 292. The goal of that was to, I believe it outsped Neutral Speed Nature Landorus T. Let me double check though. Oh, that's regular Landorus. Landorus. Let's go offensive here. And then Excadrill. Yeah, it outspeeds neutral natured Lando T. So that's part of the reason I went in there. And then just 40 HP just to kind of give it an extra bit of bulk. Its defense and special defense aren't the greatest. So I decided to not invest anything in there. But definitely an HP. It's at 110 for Excadrill base, and that's pretty good. So just, yeah, and then leftovers to have with it just to give it a little bit of extra staying power as well. I was considering bringing in using Balloon on it just because of Landorus, but opted against it just to because I have a lot of other Pokemon on here that should take care of Landorus. So hopefully Excadrill doesn't have to go one-on-one with it. On to the next one, Latias. Latias, my Dragon Core here. And actually just noticed that I also have a Grass, Fire, and Water Core here as well. That's pretty funny. But with Latias, I brought I'm bringing a Life Orb with it just to kind of give it that extra power. I did think about using Choice Specs, but I thought better just to kind of have the variation there of moves with Latias. And it also has access to recover, so the damage I take from Life Orb shouldn't be a big deal with that. And it comes with Levitate, helps with the with any ground type moves, so that'll be great. So let's see, Draco Meteor. I feel like that's pretty standard for a lot of the special attacking dragons. It's a powerful move, but it does come with the downside of lowering the special attack by 2 stages. But I mean, it hits hard and it normally KOs a lot of Pokemon pretty quick. Then we have Psyshock, another must-have, I think, just to kind of give Latias a move that it can hit neutrally to a lot of the Pokemon that resist any Dragon or Ice type moves. Recover, just to give it a little more staying power. And to help counteract the 10% damage from Life Orb. And then Ice Beam. Ice Beam to take on a lot of threats. So it's going to take on, let's see. So Thundurus, Lando T, Dragonite as well. And Dehelmise for sure as well. It's Ghost Grass. Latias is a Psychic type, so I would expect them to bring Dehelmise in just to kind of help take on a lot of my Psychic types here. I do insist, and yeah, so that'll at least help out with those ones. Ice seems to be the winning a lot of the weaknesses on his team, so I'm hoping to exploit that here. And then let's go into the EVs here. So maximum investment in special attack, just to kind of let it hit hard. And then I did 160 EVs into speed with a timid nature. I believe that. Let me double check here. I can't remember if I picked that because I don't think it would outspeed Thundurus, but there was a specific reason for it. No, so it's obviously not going to outspeed Thundy. So for sure to go up against Landorus. And just to kind of help take on a lot of the other Pokemon that aren't his fast ones, like Talonflame, Greninja, Scolipede, Thundy. But it'll at least be able to take on a lot of these Mons. But I believe also that even with HP Ice, with its HP investments and special defense, it doesn't. I mean, it takes 40 to 48% damage from an HP Ice from Thundy, and I believe it one hit KOs me with one with one nasty plot boost. Yeah, it does way more damage with that. But at least it at least will give it a little bit of extra bulk to take on that move from Thundy, and then hit it with an Ice Beam, and just hopefully take it down. Or with Drake, and apparently Draco Meteor actually works better here. 98.3 to 116. So, but just in case, I packed Ice Beam because it also takes on a lot of his other Pokemon. Then we have Kangaskhan, Mega Kong. So with this one, obviously Kangaskhanite, ability doesn't matter, but it'll end up switching to Parental Bond, so that's really nice. Again, I brought in Ice Beam. I was originally going to bring in Thunder Punch, but then decided against it just because the electric moves don't really do much to his team. There's a few that are affected by it, but they are also affected by other types. So I think at least for this match, it would have been a waste of time. The only reason I put it on Infernape is because if he does bring in Milotic, at least it'll have that to take it on and do some heavy damage to it. So that way Infernape's not completely defenseless. And then, but Ice Punch will take on a lot of his Mons. So that's a reason I brought it in. And then, the extra damage from Parental Bond it's pretty good too. Return, just because it's a powerful stab move for Kangaskhan, and then it should be mandatory with a lot of the normal typing. So that's why I'm bringing that in. It hits hard, and it can take down a lot of his Mons. Fake Out just to get that flinching on his faster Mons and just kind of get that chip damage on there. So I really do like Fake Out. I believe it benefits a lot of the slower Pokemon. And then finally we have Earthquake. So part of the reason I opted for Earthquake, I was actually going to bring in Power Up Punch. But I don't think Kangaskhan will be staying much in this battle, just because I expect Nolan to come very prepared to go up against Kong. But at least with Earthquake, I can take on the likes of Mangiarna, which I know is going to be a big threat for me in this match. It'll take on, let's see, who else will it take on? And and it hits hard. It's a good move to have just because it does hit hard. And it neutrally hits a lot of his Mons. But I needed to have something extra in case an extra ground move in case Excadrill got taken out early on in the game as well. Because Mangiarna is definitely going to be a powerhouse here for him as well. It's not very fast. And I do have some pretty good threats against it, so we'll see what happens with that. But just as a backup, pretty much is what ended up being the deciding factor. I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to set up with Power Up Punch. Then we got Tapu Bulu here. Bulu is it's an amazing mon. It's shitty that it has that ×4 weakness to poison, so I definitely got to keep it out of harm's way, especially when Scolopede's on the battlefield. A lot of his Mons do well against it. We have let's see, Talonflame for sure would do really well against it. Scolipede, Dragonite if it's packing a flying type move or even a fire type move. So definitely a lot of his Mons can Mega Heracross for sure can take it on. But the part of the big reason I decided to bring in Bulu was because it hits hard. It's a strong Pokemon. So I decided to bring it in with an Assault Vest. Just because I'm expecting to bring him in a lot of his special attackers. So Mangiarna for sure, Thundy. With Lando, it shouldn't have a big problem with Lando just because grassy terrain, grassy surge weakens ground type moves, which is an amazing benefit of it. And then at least it can take on Necrozma. And then for sure against Greninja, Tapu Bulu is going to be a big threat to that. Unless Greninja's bringing an Ice Beam, but even then, if it does, at least with the Assault Vest, it guarantees that I survive it. If I have enough health there, but at least with the Ice Beam, the damage will be lowered by that Assault Vest. But yeah, and then like I said, it's going to come with Grassy Surge. Definitely some of the best abilities that the Tapus have, or their terrain abilities. So those are nice. So with Tapu Bulu, we're bringing in Wood Hammer. Definitely, I think a must-have with Bulu. Yeah, it has the 33% recoil, but Bulu definitely has many options for HP recovery. And then so yeah, I mean, just Wood Hammer just to hit hard. Stone Edge just to kind of get the mons that I anticipate him switching into. So definitely to hit Thundy. It'll hit Thundy hard. Don't remember how much damage it does to Lando, but I don't think it does much. Let me double check here. Blue. Yes, I mean, Stone Edge doesn't do much, but at least with Wood Hammer we can take it down. But with Stone Edge, I mean, it's got a high critical hit ratio, and I mean, it can take on a lot of his mons, and it's also to bring down Talonflame in case he does decide to bring it in. I believe it's a guaranteed one-hit KO with Talonflame, and with Scolipede as well. If I get it correctly, like at least it'll take on Scolipede there. Dragonite is another one. Like I said, Thundurus is another one that Stone Edge can hit. So yeah, it's pretty good. Hornleech. Hornleech is just my way of trying to give Bulu a little more staying power in here in the field. So Hornleech just to recover from the damage from Wood Hammer. And I mean, it gets it gets boosted by Grassy Surge and Bulu's Grass typing as well. So that's a pretty good benefit. And then we have Mega Horn just to kind of have another pretty powerful move. I believe it has the same attack as Wood Hammer. Yeah, without the recoil. So, it's a good move to have. I thought about bringing in Leech Seed, instead, but at least with Mega Horn, I can take on a few of his mons here. Let's see. There was a particular reason I brought that in. Which was it? To hit Necrozma. To hit Necrozma and Greninja and the Helmize as well. No, not the Helmize. Sorry. But I mean, it's just another move in case they resisted any of my grass type moves, and like I said, it hits just as hard as Wood Hammer. So hopefully, I would have at least gotten some extra damage in there. And also another big part of the reason I didn't want to bring a Choice Band is because I wanted to have the ability to switch between moves here. I think that option would benefit me more than being locked in one move. Yes, it definitely would hit a lot harder, but at least with the Assault Vest, it'll give it a little extra staying power. I think Greninja is also going to be another big threat against me in this match with Nolan. So for EVs, I did maximum attack with Adamant Nature just to kind of give it that extra boost, since I'll be not using Choice Band. 56 special defense just to kind of give an extra bit of special defense on Bulu, and then give it a little kick with that Assault Vest. So that'll help keep it in the battle longer. I mean, it already has 115 defense, so I think it's pretty good there. And I just gave it a little bit of extra HP. I'm trying not to bring in Bulu into a lot of his physical attackers. So it's also part of the reason I didn't want to invest in defense. So at least with HP, and then on top of that, I mean, it's going to have Horn Leech, and it's going to have the Grassy Surge healing as well. So that'll definitely help out Bulu a lot. And yeah, and then finally we got Slowbro. I was actually going to bring in Suicune at first. So at least with Suicune, I would have had a very, very, very bulky Pokemon. Suicune also can help me take down, or roar out a lot of the setup sweepers. But it doesn't really have a lot of it doesn't really have a lot of power like Slowbro does. And part of the big reason I ended up choosing Slowbro over Suicune was just because of its Slowbro's ability to learn many different moves. And I think Slowbro all around just kind of helps me have a backup to threats that to have a backup to other Pokemon that might get fainted earlier in the game. So with Slowbro, I ended up using leftovers just to kind of give it a little bit of some recovery there, and Regenerator. I expect to be bringing Slowbro in and out a lot, so that'll help it out a lot. And then not having Slack Off with leftovers and Regenerator, I think I should have HP recovery covered. So I brought Ice Beam again just because it hits a lot of his mons. So I think I'm pretty okay on the ice front. Scald I think is a very important move for any water type to have on them. It's got a pretty good burn chance, so I'm hoping to hit some of his mons with that. And then plus on top of that, it gets the boost from the water typing. And then we have Thunder Wave. And if I get lucky, I could probably hit some of his mons. Maybe if he's trying to bring in the Greninja, or anticipating switching into the Greninja or anything else. Nolan definitely has some fast Pokemon that are going to be big threats to my team. So Thunder Wave is a good thing to have with me. And then we have Grass Knot. So this is just to see if I, if I get lucky, I can hit Greninja with it, just to kind of have it as a backup. I anticipate him switching into Greninja a lot against Slowbro, and at least with Grass Knot, once it gets a little more weakened, I can definitely take it on with that. So that's just a little bit of backup for it. So for EVs, I invested heavily in max investment into special attack with the modest nature, boosting that special attack even more. With four EVs into special defense, it's got a pretty crappy special defense. And since I'm not bringing in Calm Mind, I just was like, you know what? It's 4 points. Let's just put them in there. And then I put in 252 into its HP, giving it more bulk and a little bit more staying power. So yeah, I think I have a pretty good team here against Nolan. Hopefully I covered all of my bases here. So we'll definitely see what happens here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Definitely, if you have any advice or any tips, or even think that I should have brought a completely different team, please let me know in the comments. Any improvements to the video as well. I'm definitely always trying to find time to learn. So yeah, if you guys have any tips on how to improve myself as a trainer, or even in the videos as well, or even here with the team, if you guys think I should have brought in a completely different team or tweaked a few things here and there, please let me know. Those are definitely great things to know. And definitely subscribe to my channel. I think that's something that people say. So thank you so much for watching, and see you later.